Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Enough is enough. Texas high school students raised a Mexican flag on a school flagpole. Other students took it down. Guess who was expelled? The students who took it down. California high school students were sent home on Cinco de Mayo because they wore T-shirts with the American flag printed on them. Enough is enough. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Come on, Patriots, call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Thank you, Kate Smith, and good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, and I'm so proud of these folks. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And don't forget to get in there today and check on your traction tires for the winter. And also some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service today, 734-6969. And right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Why do I have the feeling that you're going to ask me a question before you go?
No, I hadn't planned on any yet.
Oh my, I was ready for it. I thought I had my Encyclopedia Britannica and everything else laying right here.
Yeah, but I think it's great that Trump is talking to Carrier and they're keeping some jobs here. Maybe that'll shut up a little bit of the left and say, hey, let's give this guy a chance. Maybe he can do something.
Well, he's already proven himself as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he's already talked Carrier into, Carrier Heating and Air Conditioning, staying where they are with 1,000 jobs. He saved 1,000 jobs and made 1,000 families a very Merry Christmas.
Yes, he's created a lot of jobs, like those protesters that are getting paid. He's created them.
Well, I don't think he would like that association with his name, but I'm going to tell you this much. I am impressed with the people that he's selected. I am impressed with the possibility of more selections, and I am very optimistic. Doug, God bless you, man. Thanks.
God bless you, too.
All right, take care. Time for the weather, and the weather is brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Oh, these are wonderful people serving you with all your carpet and your flooring and your kitchen construction and your home decor items. And believe me, I know that Kyle and Whitney, they're ready to show you everything they've got down there for Christmas decorations. Oh, my. It's beautiful, whatever you need to make your house a home. You stop into Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Yep, look for that blue door. Cheney Flooring and Home Design. And right now, here's the weather.
A possibility of some snow showers for this morning, and then it'll be clearing out by the afternoon. Here is your weather forecast for this Wednesday, November 30th. And like I said, possible chance of snow showers for today. Going to be slightly breezy, winds out of the southwest, right around 7 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 39. Tonight, low of 26. Tomorrow, clouds are going to be rolling in, winds are going to be picking up, and temperatures dropping to about 33. Overnight low of 19. Partly cloudy and 33 for Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy and 40, and maybe some rain and or snow showers for Sunday, and a high of 42. That is your weather for Zephyr Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Excellent job and appreciate it. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. As I've said, look for that blue door, whatever you need to make your house a home. We've got some Christmas wishes, and boy, am I in the Christmas spirit. Woe betide any Scrooges out there in the audience. You're not going to fit into this wheel. I'll tell you that for sure. Our Christmas wishes go out this morning from Butte Irrigation at 116 South, 600 West of Paul, and also at Red Cap Corner on Kimberly Road. They will get you wet. Wonderful people, and they have the parts and service for all brands and 2 locations to serve you. Butte Irrigation, along with a great restaurant, Alaska's Best, 5047th Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness. Voted the best fish available in the entire area. Delicious. And Alaska's Best with really nice people. They wish you and yours a Merry Christmas. And thank you from Streamline Precision, our buddy Tim Vaughn. They'd like to encourage you to go up to a person in uniform and shake their hand and say thank you. These are the men and women that put their lives on the line every day. And also thank the 4-H'ers and the 4-H club leaders and the FFA, too. Great, great young people and leadership. Thank you from Streamline Precision, and they're located at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. Really nice people. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Look, I'm just going to be blunt about this. The knife and car terrorist at Ohio State University, I almost said Oklahoma State, pardon me, at Ohio State University, he was black, he was Somalian, he was a Muslim, and yes, he had terrorist ties. Now, a little criticism thrown our way yesterday for basically saying, and I will not back up on this, I said that the Ohio State University campus policeman that shot and killed this terrorist, I commended the policeman and thanked him for being a good shot. Evidently, that rustled some of the feathers in our audience. And to those bleeding heart liberals, that's just too doggone bad. You know, you can be sure if this individual were a white man, a skinhead, maybe a neo-Nazi, and maybe a Baptist, oh my, would that have been on the front page of every newspaper and the lead story of every newscast. And nobody would have thrown back the race card. So it was a black Somalian Muslim that did this terrorist deed. And he will do no more. And for that, I am extremely happy. You know, I'd really like to hear your calls and your thoughts on this. Give me a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please, like to hear from you. While I'm waiting for your calls, I hope that are coming in. Come on, I can't do this program without you. You're the integral part of the whole thing. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. And they throw open the doors at 7:30 in the morning, and they stay open till 5 in the afternoon. Monday through Friday, serving you with all your heating and electrical needs. They've got all your furnace filters to make sure that your furnace runs effectively and efficiently. Stop in and see them today. Ramsey Heating and Electric on Overland in Burley. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. Don't forget, too, oh my goodness, we're going to be over there in a couple of days at Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland in Burley, America's Diner. We're going to be having the old old-fashioned Christmas over there on December 15th. That's a Thursday. We'll be broadcasting live and direct. You better stop in and check out the pumpkin cream pancake breakfast. Oh my, does that sound good? Red velvet pancake puppies with cream cheese for dipping. Oh, all of the food is great. All the people are so nice at Denny's. And that's America's Diner at 611 Overland and Burley and 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, if I get my mouth to quit watering for that wonderful commercial you just did.
Okay.
But anyway, what we got to look at, Zeb, is how much money has the U.S. government and probably the state put out on this person who committed this heinous crime. You know, the parents, how much they paid him to come here and everything else, and they've given him everything. He probably has a free tuition and everything else into college. It would be interesting to know how much money we have actually had taken out of our pocket.
You know, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life was said the other evening, and I can't remember the newscaster that said this. It was on another network other than Fox as I was flipping the channel. And this person, and I'm giving a summation of what was said, Keith, so bear with me. I don't have the direct quote, but the person said something like, oh, well, of all the refugees that come to this country, there's a very small percentage that are radicalized and have gone over to the radical terrorist side with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Keith, it only takes one out of maybe a million that can wreak havoc and hardship and sorrow by killing, maiming, and destroying people's families. What kind of idiocy is it? We've got to vet these people. We've got to know better who they are, and we've got to eliminate their chances of coming to this country.
You're taking the words right out of my mouth, Sam, because it only takes one. Look how many he could have done if that policeman didn't have the courage to pull the trigger.
Yeah, boy, you are so right. And pull the trigger effectively. No, I totally agree with you. I am sick and tired of this giveaway program. Oh, we'll give you money to live on. Oh, we'll provide you a place to live. Oh, we will provide your children an education. We will do this. We will do that. You know what, Keith? I ain't going to open up my billfold anymore. I'm sick of this, and I hope it's going to change with Trump.
Well, you know, it's just like if you decided you wanted to go to California and you just said, what are you going to give me if I come to California? Oh, we'll do this, we'll do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's free. It's the land of the free. The weather is beautiful and everything. Come on in.
Yeah, you got it, my friend. I've got another call waiting, but I appreciate your points of interest this morning. I really do. Thank you so much. I've got to take this call. Caller, I'll be right there. You know, I said that in slang. I ain't going to do this anymore. You know, that's a slang way of saying I have had it. You should too. Of opening up your billfold and giving until you open your billfold for something you desperately need, or your wife, or your family, and then all of a sudden the government says, sorry, no funds available, no assistance is available, you're on your own, partner. That's what it's come to. Hold on, caller. I'll be right there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Nick Greenwell. You know, Nick's a friend of mine, number one. But number two, the man and his staff are so gifted with knowing all about the exercises, all about the sports medicine, everything to help you get back to being you. They're located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And I urge you to call the number and make an appointment at 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, helping you get back to being you. Caller, thank you for your call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zed.
Hello, Tony.
How many people thought about this? How many Muslims do you think in their apartments have guns, ammunition, and bombs, and when the right time comes, they are going to hit the streets and cause nothing but bloodshed for the Americans. And it's going to happen, Zeb.
Tony, what is...
People are really turning these people in.
All right, Tony, wait a minute. You live in Twin Falls. And right now, Twin Falls and that area is a receiving station for these people coming in, along with Boise, with the Refugee Center at the College of Southern Idaho and this Twin Falls City Council going, come on, come on, come on. Listen, I am so adamantly against any more people coming into this country right now unless they are thoroughly vetted. I mean, we know how many colds they've had. We know exactly how many times they've blown their nose in the last week. I want to know everything about these people because my trust factor is completely diminished when I look at what happened at San Bernardino, when I look at what happened in Minneapolis and other locations, and I look at what happened now at Ohio State University. Why in the world could some nincompoop get on television and say, well, the percentages are really low? Tony, it only takes one.
Well, from the time that we moved to Twin so many years ago, the change down here has been amazing. You can't believe it. And the College of Southern Idaho isn't going to tell you how much money is being pumped into CSI by the Obama administration to bring more and more people in there. Where do you think that CSI is getting the money to build all these big infrastructure, these new classrooms and everything? That's coming in from the government because of the following of the immigrants into Twin Falls.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not doing it just to be Joe Nice Guy and win the Community of the Year Service Award. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of money that is exchanging hands. I agree with you. But right now, I hope, I mean this, I hope that Donald Trump lives up to every one of his process that he is throwing in front of the American people as far as making sure that the vetting is 110% harder. I certainly hope he does cut back on immigration. I certainly hope he does build a wall or at least have the militaristic attitude of putting people on the border. We need to close down our borders. And if people don't like that, you know what number to call.
Well, as it stands right now, if this infiltration of these peoples continue, they're going to multiply and multiply, and then pretty soon they're going to have the vote in every city and every state.
I agree.
Voting people like we have right now, right out of office.
I agree. Tony, how's Mary doing, by the way?
Oh, you know her.
I do.
87-year-old fireball.
Listen, I know I probably shouldn't be saying this on an open circuit radio and television or telephone call, but I will say this. We got to get together and have breakfast for Christmas. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Anytime you want, we're ready.
All right.
I know you guys are busy, but you just let us know when you're not busy. We'll be down.
We're going to take and hit the brakes here in a couple of weeks and slow the car down. I'll give you a call.
Okay, Zeb.
All right. Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my goodness sakes, sales, service, parts. They've got all the equipment to get the job done right. Now, I've been telling you, and Juan's going to be on the program tomorrow. He's also going to tell you about the used rental Bobcat equipment that they're selling right now. Listen to this. 0% interest on 48 months. Holy cow, you can't beat a deal like that. They've got all the equipment rentals. They've got all the retail equipment sales, and they've got the staff of people that know, they really know their equipment. Barry Equipment and Rental. South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Really, really good people. Oh, and while I have a minute between phone calls, come on, give me a jingle. I got to tell you in just a minute about Juan Williams. I do not care for Juan Williams at Fox News. I do not care for Geraldo Rivera. Both of those individuals give me a liberal pain in the elbow. I'll be right back with more. Stand by. Don't forget our dear friends over at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids and the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup. And they're located, easy to find, right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room, and the number to call for an appointment to get a hearing screening, and I urge you to do that today, 312-0957, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Excuse the cough. And by golly, if you're having a little trouble saying, Martha, what did he say? Well, just go over and get that hearing screening. It's absolutely not going to hurt you. It's kind of fun, really. So call her today for an appointment, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. You get a hold of her today, Dr. Christine Pickup. By the way, on Mondays, and I'm so blessed, Deanne, can you come here for a second? I think I misplaced another piece of copy here. Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert, right on the square, and oh my goodness, what a great place to go in for lunch or breakfast or a bakery, and they certainly can help you with the best in eating. And every Monday on our program, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Be listening at 8:31 on Mondays for Sophie's Chatterbox and the cookie giveaway. And right now, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Last night, like I said, Juan Williams and Geraldo Rivera, they are so absolutely liberally committed to bending and twisting to the left. And I had to laugh because of the man's inability to really perceive reality. And I'm talking about Juan Williams. We came in from doing chores last night, turned on the television, and the program called The Five was on. It's on Fox News. And basically, if you haven't ever watched it, it's five individuals sitting there bantering back and forth about the news items of the day, etc. Juan Williams has been on there for, I think, almost the beginning of the program. And it was brought up about the shooter, the policeman at Ohio State University, and killing the terrorist and guns in general. And I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not giving direct quotes right now, but in the conversation, Greg Gutfeld said something about guns and self-protection, and today we need to be more aware and more careful and more committed to protecting ourselves and our family. And that wrinkled the fur a little bit on Juan Williams, and he said, absolutely not. He said, that's what the police are for. We don't need guns. We are to call 911, and the police will serve our needs. I about jumped right through the television set, and fortunately Gutfeld, and I was really impressed with him when he said this. He said, well, wait a minute, Juan. What about the people out in the rural areas? The farmers and the ranchers and others? How are they going to call 911 or the police and expect any help at all within at least an hour? And there was no response from Juan Williams. When you back a liberal into a corner to where they absolutely haven't had the common sense of a billy goat to really think through on a problem as to how it pertains to them, possibly if they were taken out of their environment and put in someone else's environment, they have no common sense and they have no answers. And Juan Williams proved that last night. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bell.
How are you?
You know, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I don't care about myself. I've been worried about you.
Oh, gosh, don't worry about me. I'm too damn tough to give up yet.
No, okay. Well, that takes care of that then.
I ain't ready to hang up my coat yet.
All right. Well, don't put your spurs on the end of the bed. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. You know, I wish more people would. I'm so sick of this politically correct stuff. You know, thank God for that police officer that didn't just wound this terrorist, took him out, saved us a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of heartache. It's sad that he, hurt the people that he did. But where's the news media about this hero? It's all about this poor young man who died at the hands of, it wasn't a gun, it was a car and a damn knife.
Well, right away, Donna. It doesn't
matter how you do it; it's why you do it and when you do it.
Yeah.
And what about all the police officers that are out helping, little kids on the street? You never hear about that. They're bad guys.
Yeah.
No, they're not. And it really irks me that people can demonize these police officers who put their lives in jeopardy every single day, put a uniform on. Where's the news media about these guys?
Yeah, I tell you what, you've hit a spot that's a pretty soft spot for me when it comes to always building up and enhancing the value of our police officers, our sheriff's department and deputies, our military, our firemen, and they take a lot of verbal onslaughts. And I'll tell you what, I will stand up and go chin to chin with anybody over this. They never get the praise and thank yous they deserve.
No, they don't. And I'll be right there, shoulder to shoulder with you, taking on anybody who says bad things about them. Put yourself in their shoes. They're the people running into instead of out of danger.
Amen.
And they need to be praised for it.
Amen. Donna, always good to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Okay, you have a great day.
All right. God bless. Thank you. Nice lady right there. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'll just say it like it is with Juan Williams. Lives in a very nice, cozy, rosy neighborhood within the confines of a very, very urbanized area to the point where he's just minutes away from downtown, etc. They have all the social amenities right there, the curbside pickup of their garbage and everything else. Oh, yeah, nice. He's never been out in the hinterland and never had to worry about the protection of his family outside of his own little city limits. These are the people that are so gullible and, yes, basically dumb when it comes to how others of us have to try to protect our families. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Streamline Precision with my buddy Tim Vaughn. Oh, I got to tell you, this man, I said, caller, I'll be right there. I promise. Don't forget, they sell all the steel buildings. Yep, the pre-engineered steel buildings, Nucor, Prime, and Sukup. By goodness, they've got a lot of buildings for you, and they can get the job done right now. Now is the time to get a hold of Tim Vaughn and Streamline Precision to organize and get everything set so they can start building now. So your building on your property is ready to go this spring. All the dairymen, that need feed lanes and possibly excavation for new feed pens or gates, shade covers, whatever you need, you call Tim Vaughn right now at 431-7314. Streamline Precision, serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Zeb, police officers called out 24 hours a day, millions and millions and millions of calls every day. They never know, or very seldom know, what they're getting into. They go out and do their job, no matter how bad it is. If somebody's going to shoot at them, they never know that. Somebody's going to be nice, they never know that. They just have to go and do every time they're called. Now, there's some little cities, like we've got a few around us, that don't have very many officers, and sometimes maybe they are a little bit late getting there. And usually, if they're late, it's in a rural area, somewhere like Zeb's at, where he could probably call and not get an officer for half an hour, an hour. And, you need to be able to protect yourself.
That's right.
And anybody that thinks you don't is a plain idiot.
Yep. I've had that circumstance happen about 7 years ago, right here on my property in the wintertime. I do not ever make apologies for what I did. I will not ever say, oh, gee, I think I should have rethought that and not did it the way I did. I am glad for what I did to protect my property and my family. I'm not going to elaborate on the circumstances, but there have been those on the liberal left that have really come after me and they've criticized me, etc. That's fine. Go ahead. I've got big shoulders. But I'll guarantee you one thing, Jerry. I will protect my own.
and I will do exactly the same thing, and I am well equipped to do it.
I know you are. God bless you, my dear friend. Thanks for your call.
Yes, and may the Lord bless you and your whole audience. You have a wonderful day and a wonderful week and a wonderful year.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. God bless you. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. I promise. I want to remind everybody about Minnecasia sales. Yesterday, of course, Dr. History's on Tuesdays at 10:06, and Minnecasia sales at 1321 East Main Street in Burley is the sponsor for Dr. History. Great show yesterday. I enjoyed that one. And don't forget to replace and upgrade your windows with the Western windows. Keep the cold air outside. Oh my! All you have to do is call Zach and the crew to stop in, and they can help line up a contractor to do the installation work for you. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, sponsoring Dr. History. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Deb. I also listened to the news last night, and Megyn Kelly had 2 women on, one of which just said all we needed to do, they didn't need to shoot him. They should have just contained him and waited. It didn't matter that he was slashing people. If they would have just, kept him alive and gotten some answers, that would have been the best thing to do. And, of course, the other woman just about came out of her seat. She said, I don't understand how slashing people with intent to kill isn't something that man needed to be taken out for. So people are just really odd. Yeah, let's just pat him on the back and maintain them in jail and feed him. And he knew he was out. He knew he was dead when he started this.
Yeah.
He knew that was his fate.
Let me ask you, may I ask you a question quickly? Let me interrupt you, pardon me. I did not see that segment that you're referring to. But how can anyone say, well, yeah, we're watching a guy across the street right now, and he's got a butcher knife, and he has slashed 11 people already, and he's trying to get more people. What do you do? What do they want you to do? Walk up to this guy and say, well, now, wait a minute, calm down. We know you've had a bad day. I mean, this is idiocy. The cop took him out, and the cop did the right thing.
He did, and now that cop is being just taken all over the media about what a horrible thing and how horrible it was. Well, he was doing exactly what he was trained to do.
Absolutely.
He was doing exactly what we paid him to do. And to the person's point that you were talking about, just wait to call 911. Well, guess what? If there's a wreck down the road with 2 of our neighbors and they need help, that's great. Call the cops, but they're out taking care of some idiot that's killing people with a knife or a gun or whatever. So you guys are just going to have to wait.
Yeah. I'll stand up against anybody. I will argue with anybody. I will do whatever it takes to get my message across that in this day and age, more so than ever before, except for the days of the Old West, we need to be very, very self-centered. And when I say that, I mean we need to be self-centered about protecting our own and ourselves, because the police are spread so thin. They cannot be Johnny on the spot in 2 or 3 minutes. They cannot stop the perpetration of a crime, a heinous crime on your property against you and your family. You are the protector of your family and your situation, and I will never relinquish that.
Well, in biblical times, and I understand we're in New Testament times now and things are different because of our dispensation where we're at in this world, but they built walls. They had troops that were lining their cities. They watched out for who came in, who came out of their gates. This is nothing new.
Right.
And America should be careful as well. It goes on and on and on. Samson married from outside of his clan. Different people that married outside of their people, and the ones that they were supposed to, brought trouble onto, oh boy, this is going to sit. I'm sorry, I have to go to work and you have to listen to everything that is going to come up about this. But it's true.
Absolutely. You're a real blessing to call in this morning. God bless you, and I hope you call back again. And may I also extend to you a very Merry Christmas. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. I promise. Stand by. Take a sip of coffee. I'll be right there, or hot chocolate, whatever. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hebron. Oh, I love saying this. Warm hearts for cold noses. Oh, yes, sirree, Bob, Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, the whole crew. And they really, really take care of your animals. And I'll tell you what, it's a mixed animal practice. What does that mean? Well, large or small, they love them all and do a wonderful job of making sure your animals stay healthy. That's the name of the game. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hebron. Number to call, 678-1171. Again, warm hearts for cold noses. There you go. Hey, by the way, too, I want to tell you about Bedke Treasure Barn. This is a neat place. You got to get on in there. I mean, wow, it's Christmas time, and they've got all kinds of unique, I'll underline that word unique inventory. Really, I mean, everything from furniture to, they've even got barber chairs, want to shave and a haircut, tip back, there you go. And they've got lamps and tools and hand saws, collectible toys. Now, a lot of people are into collecting toys. They've got a whole bunch of them. All you have to do is call the store at 878-2015. Ask for Daryl. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Bedke Treasure Barn, 1558 Normal Avenue in Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Good morning. When we were talking about police, I think back a few years ago when I get this phone call at work and they're asking for donation to the Policemen's Benevolent Association, and I gave generously to it. And then come to find out that they weren't as generous as they appeared to be. And so the next year when I got the call, I asked them, what percentage of that stays here in Burley, Idaho? Well, I really can't tell you. I don't have that in front of me. And I find out later that maybe 1%. So from then on, I didn't give to that association. I gave to the police department, like I would donate cars to them to use for undercover work and things like that. I kept my money locally. And there's always somebody in there trying to destroy American opportunities.
Well, I do not adhere to or give to anybody that calls me on the telephone. I just don't do it. I hang up the phone. I try to do as much charity work as I can. I'm not going to elaborate about which are the charities that I try to work with and I try to fund, because quite frankly, that's a very personal thing with me, and I'm not going to put that on the public airwaves. However, I make sure that what I do with my money goes to the most advantageous groups that have the closest connection with the people that absolutely need and use the money. So I'm very careful about how I give and who I give it to. And I'll guarantee you a phone solicitor isn't going to get anything more than a hang-up click in their ear when they call me at night.
Just one other comment I'd like to make. The next time a policeman pulls you over for something you did, because they don't do it just for the fun of it, they have a reason. Be nice to these people, because one day they may be the one that pulls you from a burning car or pinned you in the car, and they're working to help you overcome that.
Amen.
I know one policeman, this person had a beautiful dog, a German Shepherd, and he said, what about my dog? This policeman kept it in his house for almost 2 weeks while this person was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about police are not wonderful people.
Well, there again, I'm going to...
that are out to protect us.
I got to elaborate a little bit. I've got to elaborate a little bit, Keith, on not just policemen. I share the same stand-up with respect for firemen and our military. I put all of them together. I don't think people are going to come up to me and denigrate our military, firemen, or policemen. Not to my face, anywhere. I got to get a weather in here, Keith. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right. God bless, man. Hey, the urgent cares. Oh, minor emergencies. You fell off the ladder, Bunky, while you were putting the lights up and you got a really bad sprain, or maybe you slid your leg along the side of the ladder and cut it and you got a laceration or something. Oh, my goodness. You better get to Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland in Burley, or Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls, or Jerome Urgent Care at 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care, and they're open 7 days a week. And don't forget, you can still get your flu shots. I urge you to get your flu shots. Don't pay attention to all the balderdash out there in the audience and all over. Just go get your flu shots. Very important. And they can help you at the urgent cares. And right now, here is the weather.
A possibility of some snow showers for this morning, and then it'll be clearing out by the afternoon. Here is your weather forecast for this Wednesday, November 30th. And like I said, possible chance of snow showers for today. Going to be slightly breezy, winds out of the southwest, right around 7 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 39. Tonight, low of 26. Tomorrow, clouds are going to be rolling in, winds are going to be picking up, and temperatures dropping to about 33. Overnight low of 19. Partly cloudy and 33 for Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy and 40, and maybe some rain and or snow showers for Sunday, and a high of 42. That is your weather for Zebeth Rand.
Absolutely a great forecast. Thank you, Gina. Good job. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care in Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Yep. Great people. Minor emergencies, major care. By the way, next Monday, boy, is there going to be fun down in Burley. They're going to have the Burley Annual Christmas Parade at 6 p.m. on Monday, December 5th. And then this is the 6th year to see Santa come and turn on the lights. And they're going to have floats in the parade. And the real reason for the season, the nativity scene. Don't anybody ever try to stop that. And music, all kinds of great things. Free donuts, hot chocolate, other attractions along with Santa. All thanks to the Burley Area Merchants Association. Wonderful people serving you and wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I mentioned this on the program a couple of times earlier this week, and I'm very concerned about what's going to happen with this case. I have been asked my opinion about Bo Bergdahl, and of what I know and who I've talked to, and soldiers that I've had the opportunity to visit with, I think that the prolonging of the case against Bo Bergdahl as being a potential traitor, and what happened to some of the soldiers that were out looking for him when he had left his post, I absolutely am fearful that President Obama, with 50 days left in office as president, if you want to call him that, will pardon Bo Bergdahl. I said this before it ever came out on O'Reilly or any of these other talk shows. I said that I was very concerned about a pardon from Obama, and it looks like that may come to fruition. And it also looks like there is a real softening of the evidence against Bergdahl because of a judge and because of the defense attorneys trying to minimize what Bergdahl did and what happened to some of the soldiers that were looking for him. And I know this is a native Idaho boy from Haley. Well, not really native. His family moved here and everything. But truth and reality and also lawlessness and going against what the military stands for cannot be condoned. And I'm really concerned about how they've let this case go on and on like a long playing record. And now they're trying to whitewash a lot of the evidence. And with the president possibly getting involved, I don't know what your thoughts are out there in the audience. Please give me a call. But I really anticipate that we're going to see, possibly by the middle of December, December 15th is the day I'll throw out there, and I'll stand behind it, a pardon from President Obama. Your thoughts, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, speaking of Obama, this man, in his last 50 days, really, somebody call me, even if you're a Democrat and a liberal, and you'd love to be on the radio, and you'd love to just say, I told you so. Give me a call and let me know one thing. One good thing in 8 years that Obama has achieved, and it's made this country better and safer. One thing. One. And he reminds me of a 185 percentage hitter, 185 hitter in Major League Baseball. At 185 for a batting average, almost assuredly that's going to be an out. The percentages are really in favor that he's going to hit a ground ball or he's going to strike out. That's Obama. And he's got 50 days left. And yesterday he came out, as he always does, when he doesn't have everybody in the tank for him, like CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC. And he came out and really denounced Fox News, as he has in the past. And he blamed Fox News for the Hillary Clinton loss. It wasn't Fox News that created the loss for Hillary. And, quite frankly, my own opinion, it wasn't Donald Trump that created the loss for Hillary. It was Hillary herself. She is a pathetically low-class individual running for the highest office in the land of the United States of America, and for that matter, the leadership of the free world as President of the United States. She, Hillary Clinton alone, absolutely did not put her best foot forward, has not put her best foot forward, and she didn't deserve any chance to sit at the desk in that Oval Office. One of the poorest choices for president ever in the history of our country. And I'm so glad that the American public saw through this Democratic leftist smokescreen and saw her for what she really is. Nothing. Right now, let's do another commercial, and we'll take some more of your calls. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, boy. I'll tell you what, they are busy. They are busy right now. I've talked to Randy and some others, and they said, man, oh, man, oh, man, there's been a rush to make sure that everybody gets their traction tires on. And they've got the best of course, all the tires for wintertime driving, for the snow, the ice, and the muck and everything else. Make sure you get in there today. Don't put it off. You go on in there, and they will and can help you. Along with that, also, you know they've got the best in brake service. Absolutely the best in brake service, with professionally trained brake technicians and front-end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. So, literally, if you've got to go someplace and you got a long trip planned, maybe you're going south for the winter or whatever, hey, you stop in and talk to the professionals that really can make sure you have a safe driving experience. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. They are absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Now, what we're going to do, we had a change. Dave Beagle, my old buddy back in Indianapolis, had to go to a meeting this morning. So kind of left me hanging on the fence post there for a second. But we have a lovely lady by the name of Sonia Moon is going to come on the program at 9:06, and we're going to be talking about all the fun of Christmas with the Burley Area Merchants Association and all the big doings next Monday, as a matter of fact. And then at 9:30, we're going to keep it a little light, and we're going to go on a visit with Tony McCammon. I call him Mr. Weed. He's the horticultural specialist for the University of Idaho, and he knows all about weeds and gardens and plants and trees and all that kind of stuff. He's going to come on the air. Then at 10:06, Dan Simmons is going to come on, and we're going to talk about the Dakota Pipeline. This will be really interesting. And then we're going to talk water at 10:32 and why the farmers and ranchers and people in general in California are absolutely having their water taken away from them to give to the smelt. It's ridiculous. So don't miss it. We got a whole bunch of things coming up during the next 2 hours. Zeb at the Ranch. Don't forget, we're going to be at Denny's Old Fashioned Christmas Party, December 15th, broadcasting live and direct for 3 hours, 8:06 to 11 in the morning. Carolers from Oakley High School, wonderful, wonderful students, great food, prizes, all kinds of fun. Denny's, America's Diner, on December 15th. Don't you miss it. Right now, Old Wheels is sitting over there at the main studio, ready to go to CBS News after a little music. God bless. Have a good day. I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Get in and make sure that you've got the traction tires for all the snow, the mud, and the ice this winter. Stop in at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, my goodness sakes, locally owned and operated. All you have to do is call the number 734-6969. Can I say that again, please? I've kind of messed it up. 734-6969. Oh, it's so easy. They're always at your disposal. Get on the route service. Have them come once a week and get your garbage. It's gone. Wave goodbye to it. Western Waste Services. Really good people serving you. Oh, my goodness, we got a lot of thank yous. Oh, and don't forget, every morning when we start the program off, we start with the weather, and it's sponsored by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door. Carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, home decor item. Oh, all the beautiful Christmas items. Whatever you need to make your house a home at Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. By the way, I mentioned this last hour a couple of times. I want to mention it again. We're going to be over at Denny's America's Diner on December 15th. Yep, we're going to be having an old-fashioned Christmas over there from 8:06 in the morning to 11 o'clock, and I'll be broadcasting live and direct over there. We're going to have carolers from Oakley High School. So excited to have them be a part of it. Of course, great food, a lot of prizes, Christmas the way it should be at Denny's Restaurant, of course, America's Diner on December 15th. Don't you miss it. By the way, another business that has been so helpful serving the Magic Valley, and that's Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with their manager, Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity and serving you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. And don't forget, they will travel to rural towns and churches to help you with all the arrangements. Please call 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you. We have a lovely lady on the phone, and I do not believe we've ever met formally, but I want to say a good morning to Sonia Moon. Sonia, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes. I understand that you are one of the organizers for the great big to-do that's going to happen on December 5th, next Monday night, and it's the Burley Annual Christmas Parade put on by the Burley Area Merchants Association, right?
Yes. It's our 6th annual parade, and Santa will come in on the fire truck escorted by a whole bunch of lit-up vehicles and stuff to Centennial Park. He'll turn on the lights in the park and then sit in his house and greet the kids. We also have hot chocolate and donuts donated by Smiths and Stokes, and we will have some entertainment, carolers.
Oh, my goodness. How many years you've been doing this now? 6 years, and is it getting bigger every year?
It is. It helps if we don't have freezing rain. Last year we had freezing rain and the attendance was down a little bit, but the previous year we had about 600 people in the park.
Wow, 600. Now, I noticed one thing. What about the floats? I mean, what are the floats going to pertain to? Just Christmas in general, or tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's no theme. Just light up your truck, your delivery truck, car, four-wheeler, tractor. We have a tractor in this year. And just show up in front of Door Shack at 5:30 and you can be in the parade.
Now, Sonia, I'm going to be very blunt. I am so pleased. I heard and I've read that you, on behalf of the Burley Area Merchants Association, definitely, underline word definitely, are going to have a nativity scene. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, elaborate.
A local church that does a live nativity.
Uh-huh. And what in the world? That must be a very important call. Somebody said they heard you on the radio. But, you know, one of the things I wanted to say, Sonia, and I'm not going to back up on this. This is a real pet peeve, if you will, with me. There are certain very small minority fractions in every community that want to do away with Christmas, and they want to do away with the real meaning of Christmas. What are your thoughts on the Nativity and this great big event on Monday, December 5th?
Oh, I love the Nativity and Christmas. I don't think it should be offensive. I think no matter how you celebrate or anything, it's all good.
Absolutely. Now, what is the parade route? So people, if it's a little bit chilly, they can maybe park their cars and see the parade.
Yes, it starts at Door Shack. We line up along 19th Street, and it goes out onto Overland, goes down to Main Street, and then it circles around to Centennial Park down Albion Avenue.
Okay.
And we have the road closed both directions this year. We got the permit from the Transportation Department earlier last month, so...
Okay. Now, what about, I heard something in the verbiage about, free donuts, hot chocolate. What else have you got?
Cookies, and also Robin's Roost will be setting up and serving dinner for anybody that wants to buy it.
Oh, my.
I don't know if you've ever been to Robin's Roost.
Well, I understand they're going to have, foot-long hot dogs and everything else, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Having a special, so that way if you don't have time for dinner after work, come out anyway and you can buy dinner there.
You know, why? Why does the Burley Area Merchants Association, why do you want to get involved in the cold of winter celebrating this Christmas parade? It takes a lot of people to get this all put together, doesn't it?
It does, but I think Burley needs a good tradition. You know, Rupert has their wonderful ceremony, and Burley's never had anything, so we thought we needed something to bring the community together and bring Santa in and watch him turn on the lights. And you know, Bama bought the LED lights in the park a few years back, and I've noticed the city has added to them every year.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Burley Area Merchants Association. I mean, who's in it, who's comprising the association, and to what benefit to the community? Go ahead and give us some reasons.
It's made up of a bunch of local merchants in the whole Mini-Cash area. We have Rupert businesses in there also. And it's just to promote local shopping. I mean, we have a lot of unique shops here, and you need to support your friends and neighbors.
Absolutely.
And keep Burley unique. I mean, there's so many neat places here to shop.
Absolutely. Now, is there anything else you want to tell us about what's going on Monday, December 5th, next Monday, and give us the highlights one more time, if you would, please.
Santa will be coming in on the fire truck, escorted by the lighted parade. He will start at Door Shack, head to Centennial Park, where there will be donuts, hot chocolate, and carolers for entertainment.
Absolutely. Now, when we finish this phone call, I want you to be sure and remember to check your phone, because whoever called you left a message.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Sonia Moon, God bless you, and we wish the very best for the Burley Area Merchants Association annual Christmas parade and Santa, all the festivities next Monday, December 5th. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Very nice lady right there, Sonia Moon, and talking about the Burley Annual Christmas Parade next Monday at 6 p.m. All kinds of activity, too. Santa Claus and free hot chocolate, donuts, everything. Oh, I love donuts. That sounds good to me. And we will keep on highlighting that leading up to Monday. Calls are welcome and appreciated. I got a little bit of time here this morning, so give me a jingle. I'd like to talk to you. And while I'm waiting for your call, I also want to remind you about some of our Christmas wishes. And we pick up the page and say Streamline Precision at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. Save on steel buildings with their expertise in manufacturing and contracting. I'll tell you what, they know what they're doing. Tim Vaughn and the rest of the crew, boy, they are experts. Experts, underline that, in building for you. And they wish you a very Merry Christmas. Streamline Precision, 678-9204. Along with Magic Valley Irrigation, 44 East, 500 South of Burley, Jeff and the crew wish you a very Merry Christmas, and they say congratulations to all the great farmers in the area for producing all the food that is grown here in Magic Valley. Magic Valley Irrigation in Burley, 678-3101. And last but not least, Golden Valley Warehouse, 468 West, 1000 South of Burley. My goodness, they want to thank all their customers for their business, and they want you to stay safe and have a very Merry Christmas from Golden Valley Warehouse, south of Burley. Really good people. All right, your calls are welcome and appreciated. Give us a jingle on the landline at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Another little story that I wanted to touch on this morning, while I have the opportunity, about this missing California mother, Sherry Papini, that was kidnapped, and now they're saying, I don't have all the finalization on this story because they're still investigating, but was kidnapped by supposedly 2 Hispanic women and beaten severely. And one of the reports that came across on the wire this morning said that she was also branded. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, they found her chained to a roadside post, and she's getting medical clearance right now on undisclosed injuries. And she was out jogging. One morning. And all of a sudden, she was missing for quite a period of time. And the Shasta County Sheriff's officials in California say that she was finally released, but really in battered, beaten, and burned condition. Ay, ay, ay. So, I guess the moral of the story would be, if you're going to be out there jogging, do not, number one, jog alone. And number 2, if you are out there jogging, and I'll just come right out and say it, make sure that you can protect yourself. You can fill in the blanks however you wish. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd like to ask you, I mentioned many times on this program that I am pro-Christmas. Absolutely everything about Christmas. I love the nativity scenes. I love the church services. I love all the songs. I really do. I never get tired of them. And I love all the family gatherings. I just love getting together with friends. I like the old slap on the back, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I love everything about it. And I said this the other day on the radio, I will not put up with anybody going into any community and trying to disrupt the community and destroy the meaning of Christmas. There are those that will come in and probably, you can't have that nativity scene on your window. Oh, you can't have that nativity scene out in front of your business, whatever. Oh, you can't have this, you can't have that. Why do we cater to these people? Why don't we treat them as they should be treated, like a very stressful fly that is buzzing around your head? You wait for it to land and then you end it. I absolutely will not put up with people that want to take away the real meaning of Christmas. That's not Santa Claus. It's not the elves. It's not anything with the music or anything. It's about the birth of Jesus Christ, and that's why we celebrate it. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to go look at it on a secular deal, well, it's a day off and we can open presents and have a drink. Well, you go ahead and do it that way. I'm not. But don't you diminish my values of what the day really is and what the day really means. How about your calls? Whether you agree with me or not, I'd like to hear from you. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I never will bend to those that want to destroy the real meaning of Christmas. Cameron and Siemens, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, my goodness. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more. They really are dedicated and responsive to your needs. All you have to do is call them for an appointment, and they will help you. Number to call, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Please make that call today. And by the way, I said this the other day, old Nick and the rest of the crew over at Let's Ride, they are probably smiling like Cheshire cats because of the angel dandruff that's fallen up in the hills, all the snow. And they've got brand spanking new snow machines coming in. They've had them coming in for days and days and days. They've got a great selection over there at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. All you have to do is stop over. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 5, and they've also got the timber sled systems. I did not know what a timber sled system was. I have been informed it's a bike conversion kit that allows you to convert your bike from dirt to snow and then back again. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. And they've got great Christmas gift-giving ideas with accessories and clothing and everything, and also a fantastic service department. So get on over to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Really good folks. All right, come on, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a little bit of a call. I'd love to visit with you. One thing I'm going to ask your help on, and Deanna and I started this along with another couple that are very dear friends of mine, is the Loot in the Boot for needy families. And that Loot in the Boot is going to be at Denny's on the 15th, and I really would appreciate it if you'd help us out. We've got so far about 2 families that are really in desperate need, and we're going to try to help them out at Christmas. So if you could help contribute to the Loot in the Boot, I would appreciate that. All right, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I am fantastic, sir. How are you?
Okay. Say, I've been in the hospital quite a bit recently with cancer, and I've missed your show, but I wanted to call and congratulate you on helping to get our new president-elect put into office.
Well, God bless you, sir, and I certainly hope you are feeling much, much better.
I am, but I didn't get a chance to get the word into you to advertise my book plaza. I sure want you to do that.
Well, we will, and I think, as a matter of fact, my wife is working on that. But, you know, Colonel Dale, it's such a treat to hear from you. I hope things are going well.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye.
There is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one of the nicest people that I've ever heard or visited with in my life, and that's Colonel Dale Whipple over at the Book Plaza. And just a sincere individual when it comes to caring about people and caring about various things in the community. Thank you, Colonel Dale. That meant a lot to me. And the very best to you. God's blessings for better health. Thank you so much. Nice man. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is a big meeting of the minds, if you will. I had a comment I was going to make. I was going to say, well, you can't find a lot of minds right now with the liberals and the Democrats. But anyway, they are meeting to see if they're going to say goodbye to Nancy Pelosi. They are meeting to see if they're going to maybe slip in as minority leader Tim Ryan from Ohio. And I think it's long overdue. I think that Nancy Pelosi has been way over in time of trying to serve, and it's time to get refreshing new blood that might help the Democratic Party. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, when you're coming from Hayburn into Burley, you come across the bridge, and then there's the railroad caboose that used to be pretty well kept.
Yeah.
And then alongside the road, there were signs from different businesses, and they were white signs. They were very uniform, and they usually had flowers around them and everything. I thought it was a beautiful touch. And that was one of Colonel Dale's pet projects. You paid so much, and you maintained it and everything.
Oh.
But somebody had the bright idea that maybe we didn't need that anymore. And I don't appreciate it. I thought it was very, very appropriate, and it added to the beauty of that area.
You know, you're talking about a subject that I'm really not that informed about or familiar with, but I will say this, and I think you will agree with me, Mr. Cottam. And when I end my program every day, I always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. Now, I'm not talking about being regressive. I'm not talking about living in the past. I'm talking about some of the values that we used to have years ago that we no longer have because of supposedly progressive thought. And I still maintain that some of the things we did years ago are still better for today. That's why I say the way things were are the way things ought to be.
And you're certainly right. And that, to me, that always gave a warm feeling after you crossed over that bridge and came into Burley. This is a nice town, and look at the beauty alongside the road.
I like that.
And they were advertising. There's no question about that. But it was very appropriate and very well decorated with floral.
All right. Well, Keith, I'll tell you what, your voice has been heard, and hopefully somebody will pick up on that, or maybe you and Nancy can lead the charge. But I'm all in favor of value systems that were really community-oriented, friendly, and direct to the point to helping other people. I think we need to get back to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You know, when I think back of days gone by, Christmases, back in my hometown of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, I mean, some of the memories that come through my old mind right now, I can still see the Santa Claus down in front of the hardware store. I can still see him kind of pivoting to the right, pivoting to the left, ringing the bell, going with a taped voice, "Merry Christmas!" I can still see and hear that Santa Claus. And I can see all the lights along Main Street. And in Wisconsin in the wintertime, I can see the trudging over the bridge. The city, the town, was divided by the river, the Rock River. And you can still see, when they had a snowfall, all the people trudging through the snow over the Rock River Bridge. If they wanted to go over to the other side of town, they had to cross that bridge and everything. You can see people that were out shopping and carrying all their gifts and everything. And it was America, USA. And we need to get back to that, in my humble opinion, okay? Let's see what else have I got here real quick. Oh, I want to remind you, too, about Streamline Precision again. Tim Vaughn. Oh, my. You need something built right now? Now is the time. I can't stress enough that if you're a dairyman and you need new feed lanes or mangers replaced, or if you're thinking about remodeling or building new structures on your dairy, your farm, your ranch, your business, now is the time to call Tim Vaughn and say, Tim, give us a bid, because this is the time they can get everything lined up, get everything built, so you got it ready to go in the spring. Give Streamline Precision a call right this very moment at 431-7314. 431-7314. Tim Vaughn at Streamline Precision. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again, Zeb. I got an answer on what happened to the botanical garden out there. Have you got time for me to give you a short...
Yeah, real quick. I've got another guest on in about 2 minutes.
Pardon?
I say, yeah, go ahead. I've got a guest coming on in about 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. I started it years ago, and I got volunteers to help me, businesses to help me. We cleaned up that ground from the river to the railroad tracks by the airport and across from the golf course. And for over 20 years, we did a good job. And then I got cancer, Zeb, and we were doing it so long, my main helpers got old, and some died, and some retired, and the city has taken it over this last year, and they're getting volunteer master gardeners to take care of it, so it should be restored next year.
All right. Well, thank you, Colonel Dale. God bless you for all you've done, and I appreciate your calling back. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
You bet. Thank you. There again, nice man, and a real servant to the community. Oh, my goodness. And speaking about master gardeners, we have a gentleman on the air right now from Twin Falls, and I just knocked over all my papers. I almost knocked over all the water and everything else. Where's the master gardener when you almost irrigated the top of my desk? We have Tony McCammon on the air. Good morning, Tony. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb.
I'm looking at almost
I'm doing great.
Well,
I didn't have to scrape off my windows this morning, so that was okay with me.
Well, now, you are I'll say this and tell me if I'm wrong, the University of Idaho horticulturalist specialist. Is that right?
Sure, yeah. My master gardeners call me the plant whisperer, so if that's an easier title to say, you're welcome to say that.
The plant whisperer. I love that. Okay, everything is cold outside. I've got snow on the ground here at the ranch. What am I doing talking to you about gardening? What good is it going to do now?
Well, there's a lot of people out there that are heading up into the hills to cut down some Christmas trees, or maybe they're heading out to the lots to start setting up those Christmas trees indoors, and that's a live plant that you're bringing indoors. And there's some aspects to setting those trees up that maybe having a gardener nearby might be able to help you keep those needles on the tree as long as possible.
Oh, now you have just touched on something. We always had a live, living, sappy tree in our living room for years and years and years. But as we got older in the last 5 or 6 years, we went to a fake Christmas tree. But that's not a real tree, and it's certainly not the real meaning of Christmas. I'm thinking about getting rid of that thing and going back to a live tree. But they dry out so fast. What can we do to keep the longevity of their life?
Well, there's been a lot of research done on this, and truly the best thing for your trees is just plain old H2O. Making sure you have a nice clean cut, about 3 inches from where you cut it up in the mountains or where you brought it home, and get it in water as soon as possible after that cut, and then you keep it watered. Don't ever let the water run out inside that container. As soon as it goes past the butt end of the tree, the capillary action of the water moving up into the needles has been lost, and so it really starts the drying process. Even if you put water back in there, it has started the drying process at that point. So make sure you always keep water in there. The research that they've done, some really interesting stuff out there. You might find this on Pinterest, putting pennies or nickels in the water and maybe using Sprite I even saw one that said put Viagra in the water. All these things are just these things have been tested, and they're just not showing any signs of anything better than just some plain old good H2O. And just making sure that it stays well watered.
I dare you to elaborate about the Viagra.
You dare me? Oh, I appreciate that. No, that was some research that came out of Oregon, where they took a bunch of trees and they tried Sprite and all the different wise tales of what my grandma did and they tried all those things, and they even did one where they put hairspray all over the tree, and that was supposed to keep the needle stuck on, and that ended up changing the tree a weird color, and so the needle stayed on, but it changed the color of the tree. So,
oh my goodness!
And there is a lot of people that like to put up a tree that doesn't lose the needles, but you really lose that just essence of Christmas, the smells. And so I like to, and I do have. I'll claim it. I have a fake tree as well, Zeb. But I spend most of my Christmas break making wreaths that I put up all over my house. So I still get those. I still get that nice smell in my home.
Let me ask you this, Tony.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time of the year, and there are some tricks to making sure that those needles stay on as long as possible.
Well, let me tell you what happened to us about, I can't remember. It was back 10 years ago or so. We went to a lot and bought a tree, and I asked specifically, I said, when was this tree cut? And they said, well, it was just cut day before yesterday. Okay, I bought the tree. We put it up, and I'm not exaggerating. It was approximately 3 weeks before Christmas, and the very next week, there was not hardly a single needle left on that tree. We had to go buy another tree. What in the world is going on here?
Well, if he didn't cut the bottom, it had already started the drying process, and I'm not going to say he was lying, but if it was shipped in, if it was a Grand Fir or something like that, it was shipped in, and it had probably been cut probably 2 weeks prior. So it had been drying, in that drying process for a while. If it was something cut up in the South Hills and then brought down to a lot, which there are a couple places like that, then those were probably cut within the week, usually within the week, and they keep bringing more down as they need them. So there's some there's usually the trees that you're getting off a lot have probably been cut within the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay,
would be my guess.
Now, Tony,
and those are the ones sitting on the lot right now.
Yeah.
So the longer you wait before Christmas to go get one, they're cooler outside. But they've already started the drying process. You cut off 3 inches, and that'll start sucking new water up into the tree. So you have to make sure you make that cut. The other thing is, like I said, with cooler temperatures, you're going to have the needles on longer, and so you want to make sure that you're not. And my wife's always cold, so our house is always 75 degrees, which I don't sleep under the covers at night. But that's not going to work really well for a Christmas tree. So if you want a Christmas tree in your house, the best temperatures are around 70 degrees or less.
Okay.
And that's gonna help your Christmas tree last a lot longer. Don't keep them around heater vents or by windows. Those type of things decrease their lifespan.
Now, Tony, and I'm not trying to be facetious because I've heard some of this stuff actually happening, but when you get the tree cut up in the hills and you come home and everybody's having hot chocolate and they're having cookies and all of a sudden something runs across your floor. I mean, it's kind of a Chevy Chase Christmas with a squirrel in the tree. How often does that happen?
That happens more than you think. That's a really common occurrence, and it's not just squirrels, but the mice and other things will lay their or create nests and stuff inside the tight, compact Christmas trees on the farms. And the other things are a lot of insects. Insects are hibernating in those branches. aphids and spider mites and all sorts of other creepy crawlies. And when it starts warming up, then they think it's spring and they start coming out. So it isn't just rodents that might show up. You might start seeing insects on your walls.
What about, though, the safety factor? I got to tell you that way back when I was a little kid, a tree that we had on the back porch, not our big tree, but another secondary tree, it was dried out, and all of a sudden it started like it was going to go on fire. And, boy, fortunately, we got everything taken care of. But what about the safety hazards of the trees yesterday versus today? I mean, are the lights safer? Give us kind of a review on that.
Yeah, the LED lights are a lot safer, and as long as you have safe cords and those type of things, and you don't have any open wires that you might create a spark or something like that. The LED lights are really low heat, and they keep things pretty cool. The lights back even when I was a kid, we were still putting C9s and or C5s, or I can't remember, the smaller ones, but they got pretty hot, and we weren't able to keep those on all day. But these LEDs you can keep on all day now, and there's really very low risk.
And should you always make sure you have those, for lack of better terminology, kind of those tin foil surrounding the light bulb itself so they don't actually hit up against the branches?
Yeah, especially if you're using the old standard lights.
Okay. Now, what about the other aspects of Christmas with the wreaths and everything else? I mean, is there anything we need to be aware of on those?
Just keep those away from your heater vents and away from direct sunlight, and they'll last quite a long time.
What about the?
There's really nothing to do as far as watering. There's nothing you can do. It just the cooler temperatures, less light, and away from those heater vents.
Okay.
The dry wind will keep those alive quite a while. Usually, I can keep those going for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Now, the one question I've got for you, and I wrote it down. I very seldom ever write anything down. I just make it off the cuff on this program. Poinsettia plants. I have heard rumors that poinsettia plants can be dangerous if small children maybe put a leaf in their mouth and chew it, or even dogs. Tell us the truth about that.
That is a misnomer. It's been on MythBusters. I mean, how far back do you want me to go? I can go back to the actual lawsuit that occurred back in the 20s, I believe, when a child, a parent was accusing the plant of killing or just causing her child to get sick. And they found out it was something else. But anytime you see a plant that has a milky sap, and all the spurge family has milky sap, but only a few of the spurge actually have this latex toxin that people are allergic to. Poinsettia is not being one of those, so that's not something you have to worry about. Poinsettias are amazing in what we've created through selection and cultivation of this plant. It's a native plant to South America. It grows wild, but we were able to start making these dwarf, compact, very colorful varieties. And it's basically all of indoor plants that are sold in the world. A third of them are poinsettias.
Holy cow. Really? Tony, I want to get back for a moment, if I can, to the creepy crawlers and the mice and the squirrels in the tree jumping out, and Grandpa starts the tree on fire with a cigar and all that kind of stuff. But what do you do to protect yourself against having those creepy crawlers all over your floor? I mean, is there something you can spray on your tree? Should you leave it out in the garage in water for a couple of days to see if the mice and everything are going to take up a new residence? What do you do?
Well, you kind of shake it off. A lot of these trees, when they're brought out of the trucks, they're shaken when they're dropped on the ground, and then they pull the nets off. In most cases, they pull the nets off, and then they can kind of start feathering out the the branches, and you start looking around. And I do that before I take it in. And if you see a bunch of mold on the leaves, more than likely that's sooty mold, black sooty mold that's caused by aphids. So that would be a sign that you have aphids. And obviously, you want to check all these things before you purchase your tree. But that's been something we've seen at a couple different lots here in the last 4 or 5 years. I've been to a couple lots where they ended up having to throw away quite a few trees because of sooty mold.
Okay.
And you know, as far as putting on a pesticide or anything like that, I wouldn't do anything like that. I don't think that's a need. I mean, you could blast the thing with water and then let it dry out and then bring it in, and that that'll definitely help the situation. But as far as doing some type of an insecticide, I'd hold off on that.
All right, now I want to, in time permitting here, I want to get into an article that I saw in the paper that said Master Gardeners donated 4,388 hours. What does that mean?
Oh, Master Gardeners, we have Master Gardeners, 122 Master Gardeners here in the Magic Valley and Wood River Valley that I kind of coordinate this program. We teach the program usually in the winter. We also have some fall programs every once in a while. But they go out and they give back a minimum of 40 hours of volunteerism, volunteer service to their communities, creating projects that will benefit their community from a horticulture standpoint, whether that's educating through library classes and those type of things, and creating programs at the farmers markets, and I have a bunch of Master Gardeners down there in the Mini-Cache area that are putting together plans and doing a renovation of the botanical garden there along the River Road, the River Parkway, I think is what it's called. But so yeah, they create these projects. They work with the communities to get funding to do these projects. They find donations. They put a lot of hours into their community, as well as they put hours into diagnostic clinics that they put on, where homeowners can bring in a grass sample and say, hey, what's wrong with my lawn? Or they can bring in a branch from their tree with leaves that are all curled up and say, hey, what's wrong with my tree? And they answer those questions. And so, various ways that they give those hours, but, quite a few hours were given this last year, and we have a lot of good Master Gardeners that are doing some good work.
It sounds to me, and I can hear it in your voice, that you are a man that is absolutely happy in your work, and you really like helping others learn to become better gardeners. I can tell that by the tone of your voice.
Thanks, Seb. And I do. I really do love my job. It is a service-oriented job where I help people grow and get out of the ruts of life. The program itself is pretty amazing. As people come, they haven't been to a college class in a long time, and this kind of is like a horticulture 101. It's a basic college course, and these people have been kind of stuck in their jobs. They're getting ready for retirement, some of them, and they don't know what to do with the rest of their life. And their eyes just pop open, and they just go, wow, this is the coolest stuff ever. And I had this one guy, he came to class, and he was sitting in the back with his wife with his arms folded and had really no interest in trying to figure out even why he was there. Why did my wife bring me to this? What kind of date is this? And by the end of the first class, he was now he was thinking. And by the end of the second class, he was taking notes. And by the end of the third class, he was bringing up to me articles on butterflies that all of a sudden he had this really wide interest on. And by the end of the course, he had organized 3 different gardens that he was going to put in to help with butterfly habitat. So it's just this weird transition that I see with the gardeners that come into the class. Is they kind of have a new energy for life and looking at nature a whole different way.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. This gentleman, Tony McCammon, University of Idaho horticulturist. If you have questions about Viagra for your Christmas trees or what to do with the squirrels that jump out of those trees or anything else, he can answer them. Right, Tony?
That's right.
Okay. I want to extend to you a very Merry Christmas, and I certainly hope going into the year 2017 that you'll entertain thoughts of coming back here on a regular basis. You've got a great personality, you explain things really well, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Deb, and I'll just put it on my calendar to give you a heads up once a month, and we'll see if there's anything we want to talk about together.
Tony McCammon, you're a good guy. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
All right. Thank you very much. I enjoy him on the radio, and he does a great job. We've never met formally, just on the radio, and I appreciate him. Tony McCammon, and he is the University of Idaho horticulturalist, and he does a good job. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness, time for the weather. Yes, sirree, Bobby, I talk too much. The weather brought to you this hour by Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company. CPAs, Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oakes, Mitch Goodwin, and Lyden Crane. They have been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, payroll services, retirement planning, etc. And right now, you got to think about the year-end tax planning, especially the 1099s that need to be sent out in January. You better take care of that. Be sure and get a hold of them today. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company, with locations in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
A possibility of some snow showers for this morning, and then it'll be clearing out by the afternoon. Here is your weather forecast for this Wednesday, November 30th. And like I said, possible chance of snow showers for today. Going to be slightly breezy, winds out of the southwest, right around 7 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 39. Tonight, low of 26. Tomorrow, clouds are going to be rolling in, winds are going to be picking up, and temperatures dropping to about 33. Overnight low of 19. Partly cloudy and 33 for Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy and 40, and maybe some rain and or snow showers for Sunday, and a high of 42. That is your weather for Zebeth Rand.
Great job, Gina. Thank you very much. Brought to you by Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Locations at 1710 Overland Avenue in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. The very best serving you, Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Okay, we got time. Come on now. Some of my old standards, some of my old reliables haven't called for a long time, and I hope all is well out there in Radio Land. I certainly appreciate hearing from you, so give me a call. We'll talk about anything for the remainder of this hour. So give us a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I really am in the Christmas spirit this year. Wow. I cannot wait, and I know this is crazy coming out of my mouth, but I can't wait to do our Christmas shopping. We sat down last night and made a list of all those that are naughty and nice and everything else. And Deanne's getting into the swing of things. She put up our Christmas tree yesterday and is decorating as we speak the living room and the dining room. And boy, does it look like Christmas at our house. And we're saving the outside possibly for this weekend to get the job done, to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb.
Hi.
Merry Christmas, and keep Christ in Christmas.
Amen.
I just wanted to say that growing up, my dad was a police officer. It was in a very small town out to Malta, but I got worried every time that phone rang that he had to go out, and I just wanted to honor the wives and children of police officers today.
You know, I can understand exactly your feelings, and I can share with you my feelings, and I'm very comfortable in doing so. My son is with the Boise Fire Department, and some of the calls, some of the horrendous things that have happened so far in his career, and those late-night calls or early-in-the-morning calls that we hear about later after the fact, it is a little chilling for a parent, and I don't care how old your kids are, it still bothers you.
Yes, that is right. And I don't think that they're talked about enough and praised enough for letting their fathers and husbands go out there and do what they do and be so supportive. I just really think they need all of our love and our prayers.
Couldn't agree with you more, and I'm so thankful that you brought it up. Thank you very much. God bless, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. Thank you. That was nice, and I agree with her. Boy, I'll tell you what, whether you're involved in police work or whether you're a fireman or whether you're in the military, when that phone rings or that buzzer rings or whatever the call, they go to the problem, not away from it. And some of the circumstances have really bothered Deanne and I. You never get to the point where you forget about your children still being your children. Don't forget BAMA, Burley Area Merchants Association, and they're going to have their big annual Christmas parade next Monday, December 5th at starting 6 p.m. This is the 6th year that you can come see Santa turn on the lights at Centennial Park, and there's going to be all kinds of floats and people in the parade, music, and, of course, the real meaning of the Christmas season, the nativity scene. And the parade starts at Dworshak School and goes down Overland to Main Street, and then encircles Centennial Park. They're going to have free donuts, and they're going to have hot chocolate and other great things. So be there next Monday. The Burley Area Merchants Association annual Christmas parade at 6 p.m. on Monday, December 5th. Yeah, buddy, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I've got time for one more call. Give me a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Once again, I want to remind you, join us for an old-fashioned Christmas at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, on Thursday, December 15th from 8:06 to 11. We're going to be there having a lot of fun celebrating Christmas. Don't forget that. Caller, quickly. I've got a minute left. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. You know, I remember Christmas when my children were younger, and one of the things we used to do is go up in the mountains and cut Christmas trees.
Right.
Not a tree, but several trees, because I would buy permits for about 10 trees, and we would go up there, and we had snowmobiles, and, excuse me, in a trailer to put them on and everything, and this was a great time. You know, we had hot chocolate we brought with us and everything. But those 10 trees were not for me. We had one that we kept, but the others we gave to needy families and to our church.
Yep.
I found out who they were, and they'd usually have small children, and when they'd see that Christmas tree you gave them, their eyes would really light up.
I agree.
And that's what Christmas is all about.
Amen. Keith, I got to run to the news. Great way to wrap up the hour. God bless you, man. Thank you so much for your call. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little break here for CBS News. I'll be back with more coming up in about 6 or 7 minutes. Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. Oh, good morning. Last hour. Zeb at the Ranch for a Wednesday, November 30th. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. We're going to have our next guest with us in just a moment. Stand by. Don't forget, too, my dear friend Tim Vaughn at Streamline Precision. Precision. Now is the time. Underline that on the calendar. November 30th, right this minute, you call Tim at 431-7314. Why? Well, if you're needing new buildings on your farm, your dairy, your ranch, your business, they've got the best of Nucor and Sucop and Prime. All of these buildings long-lasting and maintenance-free. And now is the time to make the deal. Get the bid. Get them up for next spring. Absolutely. And dairymen, all your feed lanes, mangers replaced, whatever, they can handle it at Streamline Precision. You give them a call today. My friend Tim Vaughn at 431-7314. There you go. And we've got some Santa wishes we want to pass out to you real quick this morning, and they are from, first of all, Pro Paint. Hello, Pro Paint. How are you at 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley? The best stains, best paint, featuring the PPG paint. Yes, sir, best advice too. Practical and appreciated gift certificates. Why don't you stop in and check out all the paint to brighten up the holidays with Pro Paint. 1116 Overland Avenue in Burley. And Snake River Auto Body and Paint. I am really high on these people at 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls. I'll tell you what, they've worked on my pickup, and they've done an outstanding job, and I'll guarantee you nobody better than Snake River Auto Body and Paint. 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls, 734-5790, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Let's go to the phone lines right now, and we have with us a gentleman that I always enjoy having on my program, Dan Simmons with the Institute for Energy Research. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning, Zeb.
Dan, this mess, and that's what I'm going to call it, back in the Dakotas with the Sioux Indian tribes blocking the Dakota pipeline. I am very embittered about this, and I think all Americans with common sense should be embittered about this, because this pipeline and the Army Corps of Engineers, everything was planned, everything was studied, everything had over a 2-year permitting process, I believe. Why? Why now are they causing all this problem?
Well, they're causing all this problem because of the Obama administration. I mean, it's that simple. That the Obama administration allowed it to happen. In that they allowed it to fester because I believe they wanted an issue to get environmental groups riled up and ready for the election, and that's really the point, because the Army Corps of Engineers did a large number of meetings. The North Dakota Public Utility Commission did a large number of meetings. They had public meetings to discuss this, the pipeline and the route that it was going to take. And there was they made a large number of changes. And then after all that, the Obama administration says, maybe we really should look at this permit again, when all the boxes have been checked, all the environmental studies had been done, everything had been signed off on, and then to go back now is just, it just looks to be done to keep the environmental activists ginned up and fired up, so that many of them would have something to vote about earlier this month. And you know what? Their candidate didn't win, so they, are keeping at it.
I'm going to say this, and Dan, feel free to rebut my statement, but this is the way I feel. I think that the Obama administration is using, and I'll use the word using in dark text, and say using the Standing Rock Sioux Indian tribe as nothing more than a pawn, because they know that they, being the Obama administration, that they couldn't possibly evict or get tough or stand firm and have the Indians leave this area, because it wouldn't be politically correct. And they're using this Indian tribe. That's the way I feel.
Well, I mean, it sure looks that way. And it's not just the Obama administration. I mean, you have the environmental activists, because what the real point of this, I mean, there's two real points of what this protest is all about. First of all, it's about people, these activists saying we do not want we do not want to produce oil in the United States. It's that simple. I mean, they call it fracked oil, but it's oil that is produced by hydraulic fracturing. They can't find any actually documented, scientifically backed up problems with hydraulic fracturing. So they just hate it on grounds. But the point is they don't want it produced. And second, the way that you make it more difficult to produce it in the United States is to make it more difficult to transport it. Because when oil is produced up in North Dakota, it's got to go somewhere. There's not that many people that live in North Dakota, so they're after the pipeline because they're trying to be after production. And so you have all of the groups that for years have been hating the boom in domestic energy production. They are supporting and using the Indian tribe as the poster child for this for this pipeline in an effort to try to reduce domestic energy production.
I want to go back to what we said in the beginning, and it'll probably sound redundant, but I want you to elaborate on it a little bit. I mean, this isn't something that all of a sudden came into being. This was a study. This was a massive research. This was put on by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. The states had got together. They had planned this out as to where the direction and route of the pipeline was going to be. It is not something that was just a brainchild at one moment and coming to fruition the next. And it seems to me like this Standing Rock Sioux tribe, they waited until it was right basically in their backyard, and then they thought, oh boy, can we throw a wrench into this? And they're trying to stop it thanks to the goading and the pushing of the environmentalists. I think that needs to be elaborated on. They knew it was coming.
Yes, they definitely knew it was coming. And the protests only heated up. I mean, currently the pipeline is 77% completed. It is a $3 billion plus pipeline. And what they're trying to do is to damage the economics of the pipeline, and not just this pipeline, but any other pipeline that people will try and propose in the future, to damage the economics of the pipeline so that these companies will, not just think twice, but so they won't build pipelines. That's what it's all about. And the groups either did not pay any attention whatsoever, and then finally got fired up when they realized, oh, look at this pipeline, or, and this seems more more likely, because it was more than 2 years in planning that Dakota, the Energy Transfer Partners, the owners of the pipeline, they held over 100 meetings to discuss all of this. So it's, if they care in the least about it, they had to know about it. And then to just be fired up now, it's calculated as a way to cause the pipeline, to increase the cost of the pipeline. That's what all the evidence says.
So what is going on there at the location right now? I mean, literally, give me an update as to, I'm sure that the staff is there, the crews, the work crews, all the work projects, all the equipment, all the machinery on site to go across and finish this thing, and it's being upheld, and that's not cheap to just leave everybody sit there.
I don't know if the actual crews are on site these days, because they know that they won't be able to get it done, so the company might have them. But the company's paying for them, and they have to be close enough.
Yeah.
It isn't like that there's... but, they have the equipment ready to go, so they have all those costs. They have those... They still have the labor costs, they have the equipment costs, they have the cost of the pipe itself. And plus, they've already paid for the rights of way. They already paid for all of that, all of those upfront costs. The costs have really already been paid, and then they have the ongoing costs of with labor and the machinery and stuff like that. So you have ongoing costs that are being driven up by this protest, and it is going to be difficult to resolve until we have the Trump administration in power, which will say, look, guys, you're breaking the law. End of story. Do you all want to go to jail?
Yeah, that was my next lead-in to a question for you. I mean, we're looking at 50 days, 50 days left of the Obama administration, and then we certainly hope the doorknob doesn't hit him in the posterior when he leaves. But can the Trump administration, right away within the first hours of his administration and being in office, can they just make the call and say, look, I'm sorry, but you're trespassing. I'm sorry, but you've had all these months of sitting there and trying to protest. You're out of here by tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Can they and will they use force to get this area cleared?
I think the Trump administration will be forced to. I haven't delved deep into what the administration will need to do. The point is that the permits have been issued, and the question is, and then the Obama administration came along and said, not so fast. We're going to look at these already issued permits and make sure that we had appropriate consultation. And the legal question is, what will be required to kind of reverse the Obama administration stance?
Right.
It could be it could be an executive order. President Trump might be able to do it with the stroke of a pen. Say, yeah, look, these are valid permits. We're moving forward, regardless of the administration, the previous administration statement that we're going to continue to look. That all the looking has been done, and all the legal hoops had been crossed. So it's not 100% clear, but these guys that are up there, they want it to be physical. They want to make it. They want to make a scene. They want to get on TV. And that's so somehow it is going to be very difficult to de-escalate it because of how much the Obama administration essentially egged it on with their decisions to relook at the permit, and then their refusal to do anything about it.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Thank you.
My question is that there's so much confusion on Facebook and other places on the internet about the land. There's posts saying that land belonged to the Indians under the treaty, but was taken away. Is there any truth to that?
I'll have him respond on the air. What about that land being taken away for this pipeline? How would you respond to that, Dan?
It is my understanding that this pipeline does not go on Indian reservation land.
Right.
And it is outside the Indian reservation, and it is. I mean, their claim, as I understand it, is that it's essentially close to the reservation, and therefore is close enough. But obviously that's not the way the property rights works in the United States. I can't tell my neighbor what to do on his side of the fence, and that's essentially what has been going on here now.
I can revert back to a story that came out from the Associated Press about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and in the story it says, and I quote, "In North Dakota, hundreds of Standing Rock Sioux tribal members and their supporters have held a month-long campaign to protest the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline, which would skirt the reservation's northern border. The tribe says the 1,200-mile pipeline will damage its water supply and endanger sacred sites, but it is not on tribal property."
Exactly, and that's the key. Like, I cannot tell my neighbor what to do with his property on his side of the fence, especially in this case where it is it would be like it. Well, let's imagine. I mean, there are pipelines and that are close to all of us. I don't even know where all of them are, but I can't tell my neighbor, no, you can't have this pipeline on your land, even though it's on their land, not on my land. And that's exactly what's happening, is that trying to extend control outside the outside the reservation. So it is pretty. It gets close to the Sioux reservation, but it still is outside the the Sioux reservation, and it's them trying to control things on land that isn't theirs.
Let me ask you this, Dan, and I'm sure you were aware of what happened in Malheur County, Oregon, not too long ago, with the protesters at the the wildlife refuge, and they took it over. They were protesting the loss of ranchers' land, etc., and the government went in, made warnings, and all of a sudden, when part of the protesters were going to a meeting, making a long story short and giving a synopsis, they set a trap in the roadway, and unfortunately one gentleman was killed. There was no violence that had to be, I think, in this situation. I think it was wrong. I think whatever the feds and the county and the state did was wrong to these protesters, but they're not doing or treating the Sioux Indians in the Dakotas the same way. Why is there a difference when the Sioux Indians have been there for months and these people over in Oregon were subjected to federal tyranny, if you will? Why aren't the Indians subjected to the same thing?
Well, I mean, it's because where do the political sympathies of these of this tribe lay, and those political sympathies lie with the Obama administration. That the Obama administration, the Obama administration essentially allowed this to happen when the protests went on. They could have shut it down months ago when they just said, when the court. Don't know if you remember, but a couple months ago, the Sioux Indian took the Army Corps of Engineers to court asking for an injunction to stop the pipeline. And the court ruled, no. The Army Corps of Engineers have jumped through all the hoops. As a prima facie matter, this is we're not going to impose an injunction at this time. That same day, the Obama administration announced, hey, you know what? Even they didn't mention the court, but we're going to stop this right now. Essentially, regardless of what the court said. So this has everything to do with what the Obama administration wants. And on this side, the Indians are on the Obama administration side. The protesters in Oregon were, protesting the Obama administration. That's what it has everything to do with.
How optimistic are you, Dan? Let's leave the Dakota pipeline for a moment. How optimistic are you that with the Trump administration and good quality people with common sense are going to look at various situations, whether it's energy or whatever in this country, and we may see a transition to, once again, making, like the slogan said for Trump, making America great again? How optimistic are you?
I am quite optimistic, Zeb. You and I have been talking together for almost 8 years, because I remember the first time I was on your show was during the run-up to the election 8 years ago. And, we've been fired up and we've been frustrated. And so now we have some real hope. The Obama administration has been a real problem. They have, they do not share our beliefs about, the greatness of America. They don't share our beliefs that America can, that America's entrepreneurial spirit can overcome all of the challenges before us. They don't believe in American energy production, and as a result, we've gotten the policies that we've gotten. However, from the Trump administration, the people that are working in the transition team to transition to the Trump administration are very solid people, particularly on energy. We haven't had any nominees yet announced for EPA or Department of Energy or Department of Interior. So hopefully that when those are made, they will be, solid citizens that understand the greatness of America and how great America can be. So I am very, I'm very optimistic. I can't be, 100% optimistic because we always should be skeptical until we see some positive change, because we need to keep working hard to make sure it actually happens, as opposed to, just sitting back and it's like, oh, well, it's going to take care of itself. No, we cannot let it take care of itself. We didn't let it take care of itself so far. We fought back against the Obama administration, and as a result, we had, the Obama administration wasn't able to do everything they wanted to. So we have to continue to fight till we get the quality changes that, that we deserve.
Let me ask you one final question, short answer on this. I'm almost out of time. In the 50 days remaining with this presidency and administration, what fears do you have that he might try to do something ridiculous and hurt more of our energy program?
Oh, I can guarantee there will be more. Just today, just right before I got on the air, they put out for trying to ramp up fuel economy standards so that by 2025 they'll be 54.5. They're trying their best to make sure that their entire regulatory agenda happens, and I am sure that there will be more things, 100% positive, before the end of the Obama administration, because it'll just give the Trump administration more stuff to roll, to reset, as opposed to being able to move forward with a positive agenda.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your coming on. Dan Simmons with the Institute for Energy Research. And if I don't have you on before, I want to extend to you and your family and everybody back there a very Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Zeb. Have a great day and a great rest of the year.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you very much. Very interesting conversation with a man that I've had on my program many, many times, Dan Simmons with the IER. Thank you. Talking about it's ridiculous what's going on in the Dakotas. This pipeline was not a pipe dream. It was absolutely well thought out. I have talked to some of the engineers involved in the planning stages. Everything, they dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, made sure every environmental statement was made and checked on twice, 3 times. And all of a sudden now the Standing Rock Sioux tribe getting involved thanks to the pushing of the Obama administration. Quite a legacy, huh, Barack? Quite a legacy. Right now, I want to remind you, too, we've got Christmas wishes going out from Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul, and she wants to thank everybody for the business in 2016, and she looks forward to working with you and your garden needs next year. And don't forget, if you want to give gift certificates for Christmas stocking stuffers, call her, and the number 431-5667, 431-5667, Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Also, Merry Christmas from Pickett Equipment Company, 976 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness. You talk about innovative ideas with their equipment ever since the 70s, and now they ship equipment all over the world. Merry Christmas from Pickett Equipment Company in Burley. And last but not least, AMI, 719 Overland in Burley. Look for the big 28-foot wrench over their door, and you will go nuts over their bolts. Don't forget Alan, Corey, Eric, Rob, the rest of the crew at AMI, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels at our home studio, and we will be back in just a few moments. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you very much, and welcome back. And I want to remind you, join us, and I certainly hope you will, on December 15th. We're going to have an old-fashioned Christmas at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner at 611 Overland in Burley. Thursday, December 15th from 8:06 to 11. I'll be broadcasting over there live and direct. We're going to have, of course, great food. We're going to have carolers from Oakley High School. It's going to be so beautiful, and we're going to have prizes. Christmas the way it should be at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, on December 15th, 611 Overland in Burley. Don't you forget it. We'll be looking for you there. Right now, I want to go to the phone line, and we have with the Pacific Legal Foundation. I understand we've had a change, but we also have another great attorney to talk about our subject matter this morning, a man that's been on my program in the past. Good morning, Jonathan Wood. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing very well, and thank you for having me.
You know, Jonathan, this subject matter is one of the subjects that's near and dear to my heart because I know a lot of farmers and ranchers down in the San Joaquin Valley in California. I know what they've been suffering through with the idiocy and incompetency of the federal government cutting off their water. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on down there and how devastating it really is.
Well, for years, the federal government has been greatly restricting, if not completely cutting off, access to water for the Central Valley farmers who grow the food that we across the country consume. And they've done so in order, ostensibly, to protect a tiny fish that lives in the San Francisco Delta called the Delta smelt. It's about a 2-inch minnow, and it is, for all practical purposes, extinct, but environmentalists and the federal government have used it as a justification for essentially shutting down the Central Valley. The economic impacts of the decisions have been catastrophic, including especially on the sort of low-income immigrant farm workers who have now had, in recent years, had a unemployment rate of over 50%.
I guess I'm going to have to hold my anger and my temper in on this a little bit, Jonathan. How in the world can we, the citizens of the United States, when you look at the Constitution, the first 3 words that hit you are "we the people"? We have lost our voice. We have lost our way. Human lives are dependent on that water. Human lives to create food to save other human lives. And we're losing the benefit of water for a stinking little less than 2-inch fish that is worthless. This is totally ridiculous.
Well, we at Pacific Legal Foundation are in the business of playing the long game. We might, have a bad situation right now, but we believe that if we keep talking about these issues and challenging what the government's doing, we'll ultimately succeed. And we're very grateful to have people like you helping us spread that message. And this is a sort of example of something that people recognize can't be maintained over the long term. And one of the interesting aspects of the restrictions on the water supply for the Central Valley is it's not just farmers who are hurt. The decision actually threatens and hurts other endangered species who depend on that water and agricultural activity in the Central Valley for habitat. So here we have a situation where an agency very seriously has chosen to protect one species at the expense of about a dozen others.
Now, is this being brought out in the general public? I mean, is the media getting a hold of these stories and saying, and I'm being just subjective here to using some names, the deer are suffering with no water so they can save this little ridiculous smelt? I mean, is the general public being informed honestly by the news media as to what's going on?
Well, in the past, it has not gotten nearly the attention it deserves, and today PLF launched a new public education campaign to spread the word and so more people can understand that a lot of these decisions that the federal agencies make under environmental laws don't just harm people. They harm the very species that we trust these agencies to protect. And what's gone on in the Central Valley is just a classic example of that.
Okay, so where are you at now on this case? I mean, this can't go another season down there, I would hope. I mean, my goodness, they need the water. They need to grow the crops. You mentioned that the breadbasket to the world is out of that San Joaquin Valley, and it's not just the United States. I mean, this has got to come to a halt. What are your projections?
Well, right now what we're trying to do is to spread the message of what sort of negative environmental impacts these decisions have had and find people who are affected so that we can continue to spread that message and perhaps ultimately challenge what the agency is doing from an environmental perspective and force the agency to deal with the consequences that the water cutbacks are having for endangered species in the Central Valley.
Where's the money coming from for the other side? I mean, who are the fat cats that are opening their billfolds and saying, hey, stop the water? Who's really funding the other side?
Well, unfortunately, it's you, me, and all the other taxpayers who don't have a choice in the matter. The government is able to use our tax dollars to impose policies like this that ultimately hurt us.
And what about all the water users down in Southern California? I mean, for years and years and years, with the increased population, whether it's L.A., whether it's subsidiary outside towns like Bakersfield, California, whatever, they're growing, and the population is not getting smaller. It's getting a lot bigger. What about water for those people?
No, that's exactly right. The water cutbacks have not only hurt farmers, they've hurt everyone who's dependent on water in Southern and Central California. Up until recently, I lived in California and learned about this firsthand. You'd be surprised the number of people. It's massive. And some of that they've tried to fix by conserving water, but the reality is without access to the water, there are going to be significant consequences.
What are some of those consequences, Jonathan? I mean, explain it to the general public so they can really understand this is not something to just scoff at.
Well, millions of acres of Central Valley farmland have gone fallow. areas that used to produce the food that we all eat, essentially the breadbasket of the country, is no longer producing anything. They've now essentially created a regulatory dust bowl in Central California, which is causing the price of food for all of us to go up. It's depriving those farmers of income, and perhaps most distressingly, it is causing severe economic consequences for the poorest members of those communities who no longer have access to jobs and all of the things that they need an income to depend on.
Will the change and transition away from this absolutely horrendous Obama administration in about 50 days to the Donald Trump administration, do you think that the Trump people and his cabinet members and the people he's talking to, do they understand and are going to hit the ground running and try to solve this problem?
Well, I have absolutely no inside information on that and can't even really guess. I suppose we shall see. There certainly has been a lot of talk out of the administration and the transition about how they are going to look at some of these environmental issues, and so we shall see whether the effects on the Central Valley are one of the things that they look at. But given the severe, not only economic consequences, but environmental consequences of the water cutbacks, I think it's a prime example for reconsideration.
I just can't understand. I've talked to a couple of people down in that area of the San Joaquin Valley, and they have told me the water is there. The water is there, not in plentiful supply because of the drought, but it is getting better. But they said the water is there, but they can't touch it, and it's all being saved for these silly little smelt, and people are losing their jobs, people are losing their farms, people are losing their businesses, and really, for what?
No, that's exactly right. For the last several years, the federal government has insisted that the water that flows into the bay be allowed to go out into the ocean, ostensibly to protect this fish, which, as I said earlier, hasn't actually been helped by the water cutbacks. The most recent surveys show that it is, for all practical purposes, extinct. The water cutbacks simply haven't worked. But nonetheless, millions of acres of farms have been deprived access to this water, and it's simply flowed out to sea.
This is insane. Thank goodness for the Pacific Legal Foundation and people like yourself, Jonathan Wood. We have a caller with a quick question. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air, please.
Well, it's a comment, but here in Idaho, sir, we have the environmentalists forcing us to take Idaho's water that is necessary like you can't believe, and augment the flow of the Snake down to the Columbia to the tune of 250,000 acre feet a year. And there's times when we don't even have it to spare. And then we're trying to do the exact same amount to recharge the aquifer, 250,000 acre feet, give or take. Now, if we could recharge the aquifer to the tune of 500,000 acre feet, you can see how this would benefit all of us, including the environment. I'll hang up.
That caller absolutely is correct in the statement that he made, Jonathan. We, too, here in Idaho are fighting for our water rights. The federal government trying to decimate this. And this is a fight, not only California, but also here, too.
No, I think that's exactly right, and it's one of the bigger aspects of this problem. The Central Valley in California is not unique. Water is going to become a bigger issue across the country. Environmental special interests have been trying to get species added to the list by the hundreds, and in recent years they've been focusing on fish for precisely this reason. If environmental groups get to control the water, they get to control all of the economic activity and human activity that depends on it.
Well, you touched on it right there. I was going to wrap up the program by saying this. They don't care about the smelt. They didn't care about the spotted owl. They don't care about the salmon. All they care about is absolutely taking the human being out of the equation and removing humans from the area. These people want nothing more than control. I'll have you respond, and then I've got to wrap it up.
Even if you are sincerely concerned about the Delta smelt, you should be able to recognize, and the other fish that are going to lead to similar controversies, that this is not the way to go about doing it. If the only way to protect these species is to impose such ruinous human costs on these communities, then we need a different way. And so I think that's ultimately what where this has to go, is that we have to reform the way that we protect species in a way that allows us to recognize the human costs that are being imposed and minimize them to the greatest extent possible.
Absolutely. Jonathan, is there a way that people can follow this story and other stories that you're defending and helping with the Pacific Legal Foundation?
Absolutely. The easiest way to find out more about this and all of Pacific Legal Foundation's cases is to go to our website, which is pacificlegal.org.
All right. Jonathan, God bless you for playing pinch hitter this morning for Tony Francois. Really did a great job. Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. You know, I just can't imagine how dense we are for allowing this to happen. I have seen these little smelt when I was in California. I used to do a lot of rodeos down in California. And I visited so many farms. I visited so many ranches. And I know many of which have gone out of business because of the cutbacks on the water and everything else and the stupid regulations from the federal government, thanks to the environmental movement. And some of these people that I know down there, mentally, they can't hardly handle this anymore because they've seen the destruction of their lifelong work, possibly with their grandfather, to their father, and now them, and to their children. And it's all going under the table, going forever, to try to save a very stupid little smelt and freight that water all the way out to the ocean for nobody's use or no one's good. It's absolutely asinine. Time for the weather, brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. You know, with Christmas right around the corner, Scarrows Meats have put together different gift boxes of certain meats. Oh, my goodness, is it delicious. If you want to really make some friends and make your family members happy, buy a gift box of meat from Scarrows Meats for a Christmas gift. Absolutely delicious. Scarrows Meats, your locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
A possibility of some snow showers for this morning, and then it'll be clearing out by the afternoon. Here is your weather forecast for this Wednesday, November 30th. And like I said, possible chance of snow showers for today. Going to be slightly breezy, winds out of the southwest, right around 7 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 39. Tonight, low of 26. Tomorrow, clouds are going to be rolling in. Winds are going to be picking up, and temperatures dropping to about 33. Overnight low of 19. Partly cloudy and 33 for Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy and 40, and maybe some rain and or snow showers for Sunday, and a high of 42. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Like to hear your calls. I mean, absolutely ridiculous about this little Delta smelt. And then what's even more ridiculous about this story is that the nimrods with the government are hurting other endangered species to protect this little bitty fish that is absolutely worthless. Doesn't make any sense. Merry Christmas wishes from Magic Valley Carpet. These are really nice people, and they've been on our program many times in the past. They're located at 613 D Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness. Company's coming. Better put a new carpet in. Yes, sir, call Magic Valley Carpet. They can help you. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, Magic Valley Carpet over in Rupert. And, of course, Senator Kelly Anthon, Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, and Representative Fred Wood. All of them wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Great legislators from this area. Thank you very much. And Redder Showcase, 2611 Overland Avenue in Burley. Countdown to Christmas sale. Great buys. Oh, they've got all the best of furniture and mattresses from Serta and Tempur-Pedic. You better stop in and check out all the appliances with Whirlpool and Maytag at Redder's, 2611 Overland Avenue in Burley. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Thank you.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I used to work a cow camp for a couple of years down in southern Idaho, and the BLM come out there and put up these buck fences because of these little bitty fish. They were blocking the water off of our cattle out there. And, every time I ride by there, my catch rope get tangled up in some of that buck fence, and I tell them about them elk being so hard on those fences when they come out and fix it. My cows drank water, and by the way, I bet you know Cotton Rosser.
I do very well.
Okay, have a good day.
All right, partner, thank you so much. Funny how those weird accidents happen like that sometime. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Sir, I was doing some reading on that pipeline.
Yes.
And that the one that they're protesting has already crossed 3 or 4 different rivers.
Yep.
And also, it is following an existing gas line pipe.
Exactly.
It's not any new track or anything else. It's an existing right-of-way.
You see, the whole thing boils down to what I said when I had Dan Simmons on the air. The people that are perpetrating this pipeline and all the studies, all the uncountable money that was spent to make sure that they dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. Doug, it's not a first-time occurrence. They are going right in adjacency to other pipelines. They know the environmental needs. They have met every one of the environmental needs, but all of a sudden out of the woodwork, as kind of a parting shot from the Obama administration, siding with the environmentalists and the Indian tribe, put the brakes on and cost everybody millions of dollars.
Exactly. And why haven't they arrested these guys like they did the ones in Oregon?
That's the question I'm asking. And the lunacy of some of these Indian tribe members that were complaining, we got sprayed with cold water in sub-freezing temperatures and some of us got hypothermia. Well, then get the heck out of Dodge City and leave.
Well, yeah, it's insane what they're doing, and it's all part of government control. It's all part of Obama's vision for America.
This man, and I said this to Dan Simmons, I asked him, you probably heard, I said, are you concerned with 50 days left, 50 days left of Obama, what he's going to do? And you could hear automatically he came on and said, yes, I'm very concerned. He's doing things every day to shake things up and cause problems after he closes the door of the Oval Office for the last time. I don't think we've heard the worst yet of Obama and what he's going to do.
Exactly, and I was listening to that Sheriff Clark, and he says he's going to be like a tenant being evicted from a premises. He's going to trash the place before he goes.
And that's speculation, but I guarantee you I do not trust the man. I do not trust him because of a couple of reasons. Number one, he wanted a legacy, and quite frankly, Doug, there is nothing to a legacy, quote unquote, for Obama that is positive, that is good, and that has bettered this country. And number two, this man is an egomaniac, and somewhere, somehow, he wants to come back and resume and take more power in the future.
Well, I just hope he gives it up when he's supposed to.
I do too.
People have given me flack over that, but I am fearful, and I pray every day that it doesn't happen.
Well, I have never liked the man. I have never liked his politics. I have absolutely said that I think he is and will go down in history as the worst president ever. I even put him in a lower stead than Jimmy Carter, and that's hard to do. But I don't trust him for the remaining 5 or 6 weeks that he has in office. I think Katie bar the door, look out.
Right. And also, I've heard something about a bunch of people coming from Australia that's been released from prison or something that Kerry's trying to bring in. Have you heard of that?
I had a story on that a couple of weeks ago, and I had a guest that was going to talk about that subject, and unfortunately the guest got sick that day and we didn't cover it. I will re-look that up, and I'll try to have that information for you tomorrow morning.
You're a good man.
Have a good one, Doug. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
We got to do it right, Doug. Hold on. Merry Christmas. There you go. I had to get my bells up here. There you go. Thank you. Oh, Oh, my goodness sakes, calls. I got time for one more. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What do we got tomorrow? I was going to remind you about this. Let's see. Tomorrow on Thursday, of course, we've got the Chamber Report with Kyla, and we've got Dog Nation. We've got the lovely Rita Ramsey's going to be on the air. We've got Cassia County School Days. We've got our Business Salute. Juan's going to be on from Barry's. And my good friend Matt Martini back in Washington, D.C. is lining us up a guest at 10:30. And to be honest with you, I don't know who that is yet, but I will find out right after the program. Want to pay tribute to our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness. You know, before you go over the river and through the woods, caller, I'll be right there to grandmother's house you go for Christmas. Make sure that you've got the traction tires that are going to get you there safely, whether it's through the snow, the ice, rain, whatever. I mean, my goodness, don't take any chances. They have the best of traction tires, and they have the best of brake service. Absolutely the best. And they have the best of all your tire chains. They've got the best of batteries, front end alignment, shocks and struts. Don't take chances. It's cold out there. Make sure you get where you're going safely, and make sure you stop in to any one of the 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and they can and will help you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Just one more thing to make you mad. The next thing on their endangered species list will be the carp. And I understand, not really, but probably Murtaugh Lake will be on that list.
Oh, don't go there, Keith, please. I get upset enough during the course of the week. I don't need anything else more to blow my stack about.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's how ridiculous it is.
I agree with you.
It's just plain ridiculous.
Well, we appreciate your calls as always. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I got to wrap it up and put it back in the box for today. Great program. Thank you for all your input. And tomorrow we'll sign on at 8:06 right here at Zeb at the Ranch. Go till 11 on KBAR 1230 AM, and then streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. By the way, if you have friends and neighbors, and we get this quite a bit, how do we listen if we're out of the area? Well, you just go to the computer, zebbell.com, click on the audio button, and you can hear anywhere, literally, in the world. And we've had people from Illinois, Wisconsin, Florida, Massachusetts, all over the country that are daily listeners right here to our program. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourself today, and we'll be back here again tomorrow. We're going to have kind of a Christmas twist to everything tomorrow on the program. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you and your family, and Merry Christmas. Wheels, take us up to CBS News. I'll see you tomorrow morning.